I've had one of my friends interested in learning about personality types. So this video's mostly for him and for anyone else who's trying to, I guess, learn about cognitive functions and I guess the INTP personality type. Um, for me, bringing up my friend, he came into town, or the hometown we were at in Vegas, and he brought his girlfriend and himself out here. And on one of the days, we were going to hang out, so we did. We went to go eat. We had pizza at my favorite pizza place. I pretty much talked to them about my personality type and some other personality types and how pretty much how the mind see the world and how they live their life or attempt to live their life, depending on how they're nurtured through or before adolescence. But morally, this video is about INTPs, or pretty much how I view the cognitive functions and just how we work, and you can probably find a better understanding of us. So this video is more just about to better understand INTPs, such as myself, and or to just understand them. So when it comes to INTPs, we're for the interaction style, we're behind the scenes. If you don't know interaction styles, there's four of them, four for each personality types. You have structure types that like to be in charge or like to be in control in the situation. More on that in a little bit. We have starter types that love to initiate, and also finisher types. They like to, they find trouble, they generally find trouble in starting or initiating. It can be conversations, projects, it can be anything in life. It's an interaction style. It's not like pretty much how they communicate all the time. Like they'll communicate interacting in a finishing style. Like if someone can get something started, they're really likely to finish conversation, project, like whatever said. It's interacting with the world, not just any specific subject. And then you have behind the scenes types, which the INTP lies in, and they love solitary. They love to spend time alone or in a comfortable place. More or less the ISFP though, because of extroverted sensing, and then the other three types, the INTP, INFP, and ISFJ, in the behind the scenes interaction style, they have introverted sensing, or SI, depending on where the cognitive function is stacked in their ego. So for behind the scenes, we have in corporate with the interaction side, we have informative, responding, and control. So informative, you have informative versus direct. Direct people will tell you something as is, like, hey, I want to get that apple from the grocery store. Okay, so that's direct. And then you have informative. I want to go to the store and get some fruits. See, the informative person is trying to give the opportunity of implying of any interaction within the subject. So when the informative person asks, or they're telling someone, "Here, I'm gonna get a fruit from the grocery store," it's up into interpretation pretty much. And I think a lot of people do that, or at least the behind the scenes types do that, because of extroverted intuition. Not the ISFP though, because they have extroverted intuition for their blind spot or the seventh function for them. But I interpret that they use one of their information gathering functions. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that would be sensing and intuition. And ISFPs, they use extroverted sensing parent or their second function to pretty much store what's going on right now and what I can do with the stuff in the now. Whereas the other three personality types, the INTP, ISFJ, and INFP, they store the information to later use with extroverted intuition to apply their system with introverted sensing SI. So when they establish a system in their head using SI, introverted sensing, they will use extroverted intuition, which is like metaphysical, the metaphysical realm. They're trying to say, okay, what if I can do this, or what could happen if I do this? Maybe I can do it this way, maybe I can do it that way, because their introverted sensing has to be comfortable with what they're doing for them to pretty much gather new ideas of how to use a system, which being INTPs and ISFJs, they're systematic individuals. But more on the INTP, going to systematic for interaction styles, you have systematic versus affiliative. And for systematic users, they try to figure out the system and try to see the system as best fit, or they try to make the system best fit for pretty much anything or anyone they're whatever the intention is for the systematic person. For affiliative, the other side, systematic versus affiliative people like to know what something's gaining from a situation. It's like, okay, I do this for you now. What do I get in return, or vice versa? I think I also see it as selfishness, and selfishness is subjective. Don't It doesn't mean that like that you're a bad person or anything if you're affiliative, or whatever words some may associate with affiliativeness or selfishness, but just being affiliative, it means you want to do the right thing as well. You want to do what's right. And I'm thinking systematic versus interest, not affiliative, because that would be pragmatic versus affiliative. Sorry on that part, but interest-based people. That's what I pretty much meant for selfishness. Interest-based people, they like to benefit from a situation or have someone else benefit, whatever the subject is or whatever they're interacting with. It can be a person, it can be rock, whatever. INTPs, they are triple systematic and singular interest. So it's really hard for INTPs to be selfish or do what they want, because they're just trying to seek true meaning in life with TI hero, introverted thinking, and NE parent, extroverted intuition. And if their extroverted feeling, cognitive function, which is in the inferior slot, isn't developed, they can be what some refer to a doormat or people pleasing. It's when they do stuff for people because they're afraid that they're not wanted or they are not respected. And growing up, I was like a really heavy doormat in my in fourth grade, because I would always be this polite person, and that was because my father, he really got upset at me for doing something. I don't remember what it was, but he got upset, and then I was really, really polite in fourth grade, and I don't regret it because of it's just experience I've never had and pretty much wanted to learn, but I've learned to respect myself more since I know about the cognitive functions and the personality types. And that being, I have low introverted intuition. Um, but for INTPs, their interest based side of mind, it lies in the ISFP superego. And for INTPs to be interest based, it's usually presented really pessimistically, and it usually doesn't happen a lot, at least for me. Um, if I want to do what I want, I always have a thought. Okay, is it fair for everyone else? Because, like I said, it's just the triple systematic getting in the way. Is it fair for everyone else via FE or extroverted feeling inferior? Um, if I do what I want, would it benefit other people with extroverted intuition plus extroverted feeling? Do I really want to do this? Does this make me comfortable? Introverted sensing child. Oh yeah, and then talking about introverted sensing child, INTPs, we can get really comfortable, um, and I'll say we get comfort from um, whatever pleasures we have. That could be drawing, music, working, um, being employed, sitting, playing video games, playing games. Can be anything. Um, because as long as introverted sensing is comfortable, introverted sensing child is comfortable, sometimes we can stagnate and not do anything to benefit ourselves or to improve or change ourselves. And change usually comes through introverted intuition, and INTPs, we have that in our sixth slot, which a lot of people have associate that with the critic function, or how critical one would be to that cognitive function for the INTP's introverted intuition. And then introverted intuition is about one's own desires, what the person wants to do, pretty much a direct path. Direct. Um, and speaking of direct, introverted intuition in the sixth slot for the INTPs, that's the side of the mind of the ENTJ, which is a structure type. They like to be in charge, they like to be in control, and they love to initiate. Um, for INTPs to initiate, that can be troublesome for us because of extroverted feeling inferior, because we're always afraid that people don't like us or people don't respect us. And the funny thing about that is it's pretty much true, because for most people you will encounter, if you're INTP, it'll be most people you encounter. I could be People can see me as exaggerating that, but I don't really think so, because um, INTPs, we have the lowest function introverted feeling, because um, extroverted feeling, we have that as the fourth slot, and then we have introverted feeling for the last spot. And for visual reference, how we view FI, introverted feeling, since it's our lowest cognitive function, it's pretty much the lowest aware function. Um, for us to use that, it's usually really pessimistically. It can be extremely selfish too. I mean, FIs, it can be tied into selfishness, just to be honest with that. Um, how INTPs use FI, I guess we can picture INTPs using weights. So TI, introverted thinking, is our highest function. So when we use TI or thinking, we're trying to find the true meaning behind something, or we're trying to find what's stereotypically logical. So TI, this is TI for us. We're just constantly thinking, okay, um, does this mean that? Does that mean that? And it's all in our heads. We process logic in our heads all the time. It's the hero function. We just use it like, okay, not heavy. And then we have FI, introverted feeling, which is the last function, or some associate the attitude with the demon function. When we try to use introverted feelings, like uh, uh, and um, it can be a detriment to a lot of INTPs because FI being associated with emotions, INTPs can have emotions. It just has to, I guess, make sense for the INTP to be emotional, or to be more yeah, just to be more emotional or more tied into their values, because FI is also turned in or tuned into values. Do INTPs value this? Do they value that? And FI is not really strong in INTP, so we usually use TI because we're like, okay, what does this mean? Why does it mean this? And then extroverted intuition for the second slide, we try to incorporate that with TI. So TI is like, okay, what's this? What's that? Okay, this is because this is because that. And then extroverted intuition, when INTPs use extroverted intuition, it's like, okay, what's this? Okay, why is this? Okay, so what can I do with this? Okay, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. But they have to store that information in order for them to use extroverted intuition like that. Um, they got to store that TI information into their introverted sensing, their SI function, SI child. So they got to be comfortable about learning that process. And once they learn it, they can use extroverted intuition to come up with multiple ways to develop solutions or different ways to interact with said subject, just in the operation, pretty much. Um, Extroverted feeling, people had to value INTPs when they think they're doing right, or just something that can benefit other people. And TIs TIs pretty much on an axis with the feeling functions, which would be extroverted feeling and introverted feeling. But for INTPs, since they have T on the top and then FE on the fourth slot, FE is afraid that they're not they're just not valued, and that happens a lot of the times. For And it's kind of funny too, because for INTPs, it's we can be extremely valuable, or we can be that the real diamond out of the bunch of fake diamonds, because we're just trying to be real, and I guess not artificial. Because what's funny is, for INTPs, is that INTPs are abstract, and um, they're not concrete usually most of the time. So I mean, you can probably tell in my speech patterns, that I'm not. Well, I'm trying to be concrete. I practice in my head with TI. Okay, what are ways that I can be concrete, and that's with NE as well. Um, but I'm trying to practice to being concrete, because concrete people they're like down to earth, and it's almost familiar with directness, because they speak their mind, or anything that's tangible, that's concrete. Anything that's abstract is pretty much theoretical, and it's not all tied into theoreticalness, or abstract metaphysical. Um, but what was I saying? INTPs. Okay, concrete. So concrete. When we try to lay down information, INTPs try to know what you're saying so you can be extremely confident with what you want to tell other people because um, TI knows what's what something is or what something isn't. And I'm not going to go too much into that meaning because I know that sounded really informative and I really wanted to go into another subject. But that's what being informative is about. Like sometimes you can just jump from one area to another. That's also associated with abstract versus concrete. Concrete people usually stick to one subject. Abstract people they just go to another subject to another. Um, it's it can be a mess too, but it can be a controlled mess. Depends on the individual speaking or interacting. But like I said, INTPs be really confident about what you're saying and be really confident with your TI hero. And then your extroverted thinking fifth slot or the attitude of the nemesis. You want to evolve that for the attitude from the nemesis to like a vigilante or the anti-hero because what extroverted thinking is usually thinking is that okay this person's wrong or how can I find ways this person can be wrong or they're not correct, um, how I look at extroverted thinking for the fifth slot of INTPs is I think okay they could be wrong but I'm going to listen to them. I'm going to listen to what they have to say and then I'll trust their information and put into practice whenever time requires me to do said action with extroverted sensing. Maybe introverted sensing too, but extroverted sensing to apply the moment, and then introverted sensing to store the moment in here. Um, but when INTPs are really confident, they go to ESFJ mode, and it's like no one could they're they don't become people pleasers, but they become extremely aware of people's emotions, their values, because extroverted feelings also tuned into others' values, whereas introverted feeling is in tune to one's own um, values and emotions. And I forgot to mention extroverted feelings also tied into people's emotions. Um, INTPs, we don't let me not generalize like that. I have a tendency with extroverted feeling to really get nervous or, yeah, I really get nervous around pessimistic emotions. And I try to figure out with introverted thinking hero, okay, does this make sense for this person to be in a pessimistic mood or emotion right now? Because emotions to me they can be they're usually irrational because it shows it shows me like an interest side of people like they use emotions because they're trying to serve a message to another person, which is not always the case. But sometimes I see artificialness in emotion. Sometimes, like, does it really? Do you really have to be sad, or do you really have to be mad about that thing? Because Ti is like, okay, why, and that's what's going on in an INTP's head all the time. Why? And extroverted thinking nemesis is like backing up introverted thinking. Or no, I could say extroverted thinking is like that. It's the person in our head saying why, and then the hero function for INTP's introverted thinking is like, okay, let's figure out why. and then they try to look up information with extroverted thinking. They either look up, well, I wouldn't say look up because that's applying to the internet. So I'm just going to say they find a source that gives them the information with TI, whether it's in here in INTP's head or if it's from an external source. And then once they find that information validated with extroverted thinking, they use introverted sensing child to store that information. And then after introverted sensing child stores that information, INTPs look for the what ifs or what else we can do with that information via extroverted intuition parent or the second slot for INTPs. And that's, you can probably tell from right now. This is not scripted, and I'm trying to keep this real too. And I always wanted to mention this, like if I were to record a video and just post it on something like INPs. You're probably, if you didn't already, started doing now, looking at the comments. Well, if there are comments, and or you're speeding up the speed of the video. I don't understand why some people do that, or at least for INTPs, because INTPs we seek understanding through introverted thinking and extroverted intuition, and for INTPs, possibly INFPs to do that, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if INFPs do that more than INTPs, but I've read in comments or threads or on the internet that INTPs do that, and I don't think they have their extroverted intuition turned on because, and I'm saying this because we're trying to implement systems, or we're trying to figure out new ways to learn through introverted thinking, and we're trying to validate that with extroverted thinking, so we could tell people with extroverted feeling to give value to that and to possibly give tradition or meaning to what message we attempt to convey to others. And like I was explaining earlier, I don't know why INTPs do this. Oh, no, sorry, I was saying extroverted intuition is probably not turned on because we're looking for familiarity with introverted sensing, and then we're trying to apply the new ways with extroverted intuition, and how extroverted intuition's not turned on because probably I don't have the attention of the INTPs right now. Like, they're not looking at me. I'm not saying to look at me, but I'm saying to figure out why I look the way I do, why I make the facial expressions I do, pay attention to eye movement too, because INTPs, when we talk, I've noticed that this is our eye movement. This is like TI and like us trying to use extroverted intuition. You can see the INTPs that use extroverted intuition more. They'll try to they'll have more eye movement, at least from what I've seen. And I know a lot of people don't talk about like eye movement or facial expressions either. But TI is like, okay, they're trying to look for the one answer, and then extroverted intuition's like, okay, I got that answer, so let's see different ways I can find that answer, or use that message I want to send to the outside source, the external source. And yeah, that's pretty much me describing, I guess, extroverted intuition, and also why, or trying to figure out why INTPs do this. Maybe maybe INFPs do. I'd say maybe ISFJs too. I'm not sure on that one. I would have to back that up. I have two ISFJ I have one ISFJ friend and one ISFJ worker. It's like one lives in California and one like I said, I work with. If I were to bring both of them to the same place. It would be like having two twin sister ISFJs. As funny as that sounds. Um, but what was I gonna say? Oh, okay. So artificialness. Um, I don't understand the concept of people saying INTPs are like emotionless robots or the robots. It To my interpretation, it's actually the other way around. The other way around being that INTPs, we're trying to find feeling, or not feeling, we're trying to find meaning through TI so we can imply, uh, sorry, so we can implement reasons for us or values for us. And it can be extremely difficult for INTPs because usually for INTPs upbringing, they don't have the best nurtured life in their upbringing. Like it's we already misunderstood. People already know that for the most part, unless someone in your family or some people in your family or friend group they know about personality types, so they can tell you of they can either tell you or they can show love to you through your cognitive functions and understand you through who you are, your personality type, and just give you no problems. The problem is a lot of people are ignorant about um, this area of psychology, and that causes a lot of issues in the world, the real world, and the electronic world too. But more on that later. Speaking artificialness again, like I said, and I want to show my meaning to it because I didn't really show the meaning. I went on to a different subject, like I said, about being informative. But anyways, artificialness, like when we look at SJs or usually SFJs, and this is no offense to SFJs or any affiliative and concrete personality type, is that sometimes when you say something or you do something or we can see emotions expressed on you, it just seems artificial, it seems fake. It's pretty much like small talk. And INTPs were not about small talk. Like it's really difficult for INTPs to stay in a small talk mentality because we're just trying to figure out why is the universe, why is a human being called human, why do we do this, why do they do that, why do they do that to us, stuff like that. And like, hi, how are you doing? eh, I don't know, how do you want me to answer that? I don't. I tend to. I have a tendency, and well, not a tendency, but I pretty much trained myself with introverted sensing to tell myself, okay, not to use the words good or bad because they're largely subjective, and they're up to interpretation. They're informative words versus direct. Um, So I try to find other ways to communicate with other people, even if they have small talk. Like I'll say something quirky. I don't know, um, but it just seems artificial because it seems like you people are actually the robots. And again, I'm not saying that all SFJs or affiliative concrete people are like this. It's just like your SI is, well, for the concrete affiliatives, which would be the SJs. It just seems like since you have introverted sensing SI and the top two functions, it's almost like you have like a established system in your head always telling you to do this every time you see this person. And for that, I mean, for that exact point, I mean, small talk or something that's not important to INTPs. Um, Small talk, like I said, it's not important to INTPs because it's not meaningful. INTPs are trying to seek meaning with FI. We're really trying to understand FI, the cognitive function, introverted feeling, and usually it's hard for us to do it, or we learn it at a really further date, and that's because we don't really get to develop ourselves. We usually mature late, and that's because when we don't think or we are not accepted for who we are, we get in to this terminology called looping for psychology. And the psychological term for looping is when a personality type uses their first function and third function, or aka their optimistic functions. The optimistic functions are the odd numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, and then the even numbers are the pessimistic functions 2, 4, 6, 8. And so, what happens for INTP, since we're introverts, the introverted personality types use 1, 3, 5, 7, or their optimistic functions, as the introverted cognitive priorities. That's what the brain prioritizes through the person's mind. And for the extroverted personality types, they use their optimistic functions are their 1, 3, 5, 7 functions, which are extroverted functions. And for INTPs, okay, yeah, like I said, for INTPs, we when we're not accepted, we don't use our extroverted functions. That would be extroverted intuition. So we don't try to come up with new ways to make you happy via extroverted feeling. We don't come up with new ways to make you feel better or to make you feel valued as a person. And and then we don't get to use our other functions or lower functions too. So like for the looping for INTPs, INTPs pretty much become a hoarder of knowledge, and they don't tell anyone, or they'll try to learn something. Um, yeah, they'll either try to learn something, or if they like uh, and sensational pleasure, they'll just stick to that, and they won't seek a outer source because sensing and intuition are on the axis. So if all they're using is introverted sensing, extroverted intuition is not going to seek new sensations from other sources. And that's also where behind the scenes interaction comes from, because INTPs, they love to spend solitary because that's where they're at their best. And they're at their best because they're using introverted thinking to find um, they're trying to find the truth behind what we do or what other people do. And then introverted sensing, like again, they can get really comfortable about being in one spot, so they don't want to pretty much converse with others or just move or try anything new with their life. If they want to try something new, it has to be something they really want to do, which is introverted intuition critic, which is the sixth slot for INTPs. Usually, when they look at extroverted intuition, which is our second slot, like stated earlier, um, they look at people doing stuff or wanting stuff that kind of irritates INTPs. They're like, okay, why is this person doing this, or why is this person wanting this? Like it doesn't make if it doesn't make TI sense to INTPs, they're just not gonna want anything with introverted intuition. So they're like, okay, why do these people want that? It doesn't make sense to us. Or if it doesn't make sense to us, usually INTPs with higher developed extroverted thinking, which would be the fifth slot, they would try to figure out why. And then INTPs who do that, they'll try to um, either alleviate the statistics in that area, or they'll try to attach meaning to it with extroverted feeling, because like I said, we're inferior to people's emotions and values. Like, we try to understand people's values and their emotions, but sometimes it can just be artificial to us. Usually that's why we like being around like uh, other NT types, like either fellow INTPs, which I don't know how often that happens, like in the real world. Like, you probably, if you're INTP and you have another INTP, you might have them as an internet friend or something. But okay, anyways, or if you met them like at work, if you're employed to just a occupation or whatever. ENTPs, I've met. I'm working with an ENTP right now. He's usually working cashier. Um, really great at using extroverted intuition. I want to beat him in using extroverted intuition, because um, extroverted intuition is about applying the what if scenarios, and pretty much the metaphysical realm, what people are about to do, or what people want to do. And I can use it, like when I use extroverted intuition parent, sometimes to ENTP standards, or maybe no, yeah, ENTP. I wouldn't say ENFP, but for ENTP standards, like sometimes I can surpass their hero extroverted intuition, but I had to have all that stored introverted sensing information, extroverted thinking and introverted thinking, to apply my new ideas via extroverted intuition to, I guess, comply with ENTP's extroverted intuition function as their, their first function. But the last line of employment I had, Amazon, and I had an ENTP there. I wouldn't say he was in the best state of mind, in my opinion. In my opinion, um, I don't really know a lot about him other than he's an ENTP, and I typed him and I told him about the ENTP. He's like, okay, that sounds exactly like me. It's like you read my mind, stuff like that. And I was really happy, because I love to watch people and learn about them. And why, and some people like non INTPs might wonder why I'm saying that, and that's because our top two functions, or actually our first, second, well, yeah, all four of our top functions. You can also incorporate that with all eight functions, but I'm just gonna specify with the first four functions. So I like doing that. I like watching people, so I can learn. I can store that information with introverted sensing, child, third slot, and then figure out why they're doing stuff with introverted thinking, or come up with ways to think why they're doing that. And then extroverted intuition to um, pretty much expand the field of relativity, so then I can implement new ways to possibly interact with them, which would be extroverted feeling inferior or aspirational, depending on how the INTP uses that. I try to. It's really hard to get me in my subconscious, the ESFJ personality type. Um, and it's just because I had to know that I'm doing great for people getting valued, or Yeah, or people respect me for who I am. And that's really hard for me to find, at least nowadays. Like my friend, the friend that came to Vegas with his girlfriend, his name is Zach, or Zachariah. Um, he we went to high school together, and he knew my mother when he went to middle school because my mother was my friend Zach's band director, so he learned bassoon there. And then he came to Legacy High School, and he learned he mostly played bassoon. He learned trombone. He became a drum major, and for people who don't know what a drum major is, it's someone who conducts a marching band, possibly a standard concert band too, but it's drum majors are usually affiliated with instructing or conducting marching bands. So he became that, and he volunteered. Well, I guess you can say volunteer for student leader too. But besides the point about describing my friend, he would always encourage me to play music, or he encouraged me to compose more music. I don't know if I just said that. He encourages me to play music, compose music, and to just stand and talk. And like, I really value people who just talk to me in a non-interest way. It's kind of like I'm favoring systematic people. Well, my if anyone knows about like relationships, stuff like that, golden pairs, silver pairs, bronze pairs, super ego pairs, stuff like that. Like, I love talking to systematic people, such as like ENTJs. But my friend, I haven't typed him yet. I haven't typed Zach yet, but he would always talk to me, or I would talk to him, and we would just listen to each other. That's what something INTPs would love, or that's how you love INTP. One of the many ways to love INTP is to listen to them. Because INTPs, we don't get that a lot because we're too busy in our comfort zones, and then we're not attempting to interact with people. Ugh, man. Okay, I wanted to go somewhere with that, but I guess I can explain that later or for another video because this video is getting long. I don't know how many people can listen to me talk for this long, but I know there's some people who are willing to listen to me to the end of their life. I have some people that I value that way. Not many. But anyways, what was I talking about? Okay, yeah. So my friend, he would always encourage me to do all those things. I always had at least one friend that would do that once a year, but Zach, he did that the most out of anybody. That could have been one of my other friends. Actually, it could have been two of my friends. This person named George, and then I'm not gonna say this person's my friend anymore because we don't really talk. But this person named Mackenzie, and for George, he's a ENTP. I love the guy. Um, his mentality though, his mentality is, I usually associate his mentality with like a college like a college student. Like, he still thinks young. I mean, not saying that I don't think young. It's just I excuse me, I have more of a pessimistic view of life. That's pretty much standard for INTP, but um, just me seeking meaning and not making jokes all the time. Like I'll make jokes, but you had to put me in the ESFJ subconscious, and when I say that doesn't happen a lot, it just doesn't happen a lot because I don't know, I just don't see myself respected in most areas I go to. And I had to consider myself to use introverted intuition um, to figure out what I want to do and when to do it, pretty much. Because introverted sensing is comfortable, and introverted sensing child is comfortable, and I got to get and I found ways to get out of that, and it's really great. INTPs, I would really suggest just getting out of your comfort zone, whether it be your house or work zone. I don't know if it would be a work zone. It depends if you're working independently or if you're working by yourself. Um, but yeah, just get out of the comfort zone. Try new things that you think could benefit you. Because I know we want to try new things, unless you're like unless like you're in your area like most of the time of your day, whatever you're doing. I'm not sure what you're doing, but just try new stuff, because that will take you away from your comfort zone. That will take you away from your comfort zone to make you have more comfort zones and more, I guess, a healthy lifestyle. But going back to my ENTP friend George, um, he his introverted sensing and fear always got in the way of him trying to do something new. So for the instance I'm referring to, um, my one of my old friends, his name was Kobe. He's a trumpet player. He got me into staying after school because I would never want to go stay after school. I would always want to go home, always go where it's comfortable. SI child's just like that. Because extrovert intuition wasn't really developed into wanting to try something new or seeing why this new sensation could be beneficial to my comfort zone or my introverted sensing child. But then he got me into staying after school for jazz band and just staying after school in general. And I had another friend, Jamel, named Jamel. He helped me with that too. I think Jamel. I think he's an ISTP, but I had to talk with him a little bit more. Like I spent a lot of time with these people I'm listing right now, but I never analyzed them on a psychological level. Um, but I know George better than everyone else. Um, I don't think I spent the most time with him. I think I spent the most time with either Jamel or Zach, but George, he's a. It's just really easy to recognize an NTP when you're with an NTP because, I mean, we pretty much get each other. We understand each other. But for what was I saying? For okay, yeah, for okay, I was going over introverted sensing inferior. So the inability or um to be afraid of trying something new, that's introverted sensing inferior, and that's for ENTPs and ENFPs or ENPs. Um, he once joined a jazz band his senior year, and I was trying to convince him to stay after school, but like his TI is like saying, or yeah, well, yeah, no, his introverted sensing is saying, well, why would I want to do this? I can just do this or do this at home, or this doesn't make sense because he's using his introverted thinking parent slot or second slot. Um, but I knew we could do a lot of cool stuff together if he would stay after school, but like his introverted sensing child wasn't having it, so he just thought it was pretty much boring, or he had other reasons too. I don't want to subject subjectiveness to his meaning or his reasons, because INTPs don't do that, or at least the ones that develop extroverted intuition and um, sanitize their extroverted thinking to have a more positive outlook. INTPs, usually we know life is meaningless, but we want to give meaning to it. So with FI, introverted feeling, and the 8th slot, or the attitude of the demon. A lot of people don't understand that. It's like I said about artificialness. INTPs, we see a lot of people being artificial. Not saying that they are, but that's how we view them. Like small talk, how or hi, how no, and not say hi, but how are you doing, or just any small talk. How's the weather? Okay. Anyways, um, shoot, I forgot what I was gonna say again. I can talk about something else. Oh, okay. Quadrants, like you have Crusaders, philosophers, Templars, and the Wayfarers. Crusader types, which INTPs are, they try to be extremely fair, and that's through SI and FE. They're trying to be really fair, that sometimes they forget to be selfish or interest based, which is in our super ego, the ISFP, to do what we want so we can become doormats, aka people pleasers, doing what people want because we're afraid that we won't be valued if we don't do stuff for them. 9CBs, you gotta get out of that. You gotta do stuff that's meaningful, because if you don't do stuff that's meaningful, you can very well be artificial, like what you may associate other people with, or being robots. Because it, like when I say robots, it's more to affiliate um of just standard, no, not standard, like a set of commands, just following a set of commands and always following that, not deteriorating from those commands, or deviating from those commands. Because like I said, INTPs, you want to develop your pessimistic functions, the 2468, extroverted intuition, extroverted feeling, introverted intuition, and introverted feeling. You want to develop those positions in your stacking, because if you don't do that, you're just gonna be that robot. You're just gonna have your commands for the day and just do that all the time, because you're not comfortable getting out of your comfort zone and trying something new. For me, like when I eat food, I'm a plain person. My diet consists of eggs, sometimes bacon, fruits, um, what else? And then for drinks, mostly water, and then like fruit juice, apple juice, orange juice. I like lemonade juice too. And then for soda, like I'll have soda like every like 3 to 12 months. Like and when I do, it's just like a small cup feel. I'm thirsty anyways. I'm gonna have some orange juice. That's refreshing. Okay, back to what I was saying. So yeah, try some new stuff. if yeah, if like pretty much if you're physically able, like just I don't know, get dressed, go outside, and just either just start walking. Yeah, just start walking, and then just you can walk around a park. You can walk. I would say a park. You can walk around buildings too, but like I would say, mostly parks are just like lively areas. Lively areas being like living stuff, not like buildings like minerals. I don't know where I was going with that, but um, yeah, just try new stuff. Um, because when you do that, it'll engage your extroverted intuition parent, and you can better figure out ways where you want to do what you want, or you can figure out new ways to have people in your life or do stuff for people in your life that you respect and or love, and you can just give them really great moments in their lives for them to feel valued. um, and then extroverted sensing, I can talk about that in a different day, because like I said, this video is already long. It's going on an hour and a minute. So um, yeah, next time I can have I guess a scripted, or yeah, a scripted but not so scripted list of a topic to talk about. But the topics I'll mostly talk about will be associated with INTPs. I could go on off about that, but that just depends. Um, that that just depends on my perspective. Well, yeah, we can just make videos about pretty much my perspective. But INTPs, like I said, I recommend going out more, because if you just stay where you're at, how are you gonna help people, or how are you gonna know when someone really wants you? Because you can get one over. Someone can pull one over you. They can just fool you because you don't have the extroverted thinking developed. The extroverted thinking nemesis in the fifth slot, and you don't have that stored information with introverted sensing coming from extroverted intuition, being that, okay, does this person really want me, or does this person really want me to do something with them? Are they trying to fool me? Stuff like that. Because if no one's going to question your TI hero, introverted thinking, then you're just left with pretty much the low TI you have. And when I say low TI, I mean you have information, but you only have this much information. You're only going to be stronger with more information. Your information expanding, your introverted thinking, developing more. Well, I wouldn't say developing more, but I would say um, evolving more. You just become stronger, because when you use your other sides of the mind, you just become stronger with what you have and what your head's good with. What the INTP does, the cognitive. Shoot, I forgot the terminology. I'm sorry. Um, the cognitive preference. Sorry, the cognitive preference of the INTP. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. There's something else I wanted to talk about. So, um, a lot of people, like, I don't see this topic a lot. It's and not not starting anything, or um we can start like a conversation or a topic about this, but like I don't see a lot of um what's it called? Sorry. I know what I'm trying to talk about, but like it's in my head, but I'm just trying to look for it, for the terminology. Not disparity, but okay, yeah. So like in the psychology community, it's not. I don't see a lot of diversity in, um, I guess, ethnicity. You usually see, well, this color, and I'm not pointing at myself. You usually see this color. It's like a little darker or lighter skin toned, and I usually don't see a lot of people with my skin tone associating with psychology, or or if they do, they don't have a lot of knowledge pertaining to it. And I'm trying to figure out why. Like TI extroverted thinking is like why, and then the hero's like, okay, I'm going to figure out why, so we don't have to fight anymore. Extroverted thinking nemesis, and then extroverted thinking nemesis is like, okay, but I'm gonna keep asking why though. Okay, so yeah, that's something I've noticed. And this does not pertain to any particular personality type. Well, you can very well associate this with INTPs. Like I've seen INTP males, INTP females, and if I do see a INTP with similar ethnicity, I just want to hear from them because one thing I didn't do for this video is describe my childhood, because the nature of the INTP is there, but the nurture, we're all either raised similarly or differently. And for skin tones, you can be raised differently depending on where you live. And like for me, how I guess my upbringing came about was people thought I spoke this way, or why do you speak this way, or you act like this particular group. Okay, without sugarcoating it, so usually people would associate, or they would ask, okay, you talk white or you act white, but you're black. You're a black guy who acts white, or stuff like that. And it's just, I think it's just Ti and NE trying to seek reasons to communicate with people. We're just trying to figure out ways to communicate with people, and sometimes we can get too caught up in our comfort zone and in our way of thinking, which makes us loop. So we don't use our extroverted functions to deal with the real world, or the concrete world, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, for me growing up, if I had a friend in elementary school, that was in fifth grade. Otherwise, I had my cousin that I would mostly talk to. But I only had her kindergarten through third grade. And then fourth and fifth grade, we separated from classes, from each other. And then sixth grade, I was pretty much alone. I had this one person named Eric that transferred from a different school, and I would talk to him during lunch, stuff like that. But I really didn't have like a, I guess, dedicated friend to really talk to. And it was until either seventh or eighth grade I met George. It could have been sixth grade. George, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I love you, buddy. But I met, if I remember correctly, I met George either through seventh or eighth grade, and then we would just talk. And then one day he gave me his Xbox account name or gamer tag, and then we would just always talk after we got off of school. We both hop on Xbox and just play some video games together. But my parents, they were musicians, and how does that associate with what I'm talking about right now about being my ethnicity that I am? So they were both musicians, and you can probably, some people can already tell by now that usually musicians, well, back in the day, most of them are usually white or Caucasian, or usually Asian as well.
um, when it came to music and trying out for a subject called honor band in Allstate. So for those that don't know, honor band is pretty much like semifinals for sports. So um, musicians all over the city for honor state or honor band, we learned etudes. So we learn a lyrical and we learn a technical. The lyrical one is just a slow paced, and the and we usually go in tone monochromatically. So or whatever the lyrical piece has in tune for us, and then the technical piece is like um, um, for I guess a term a faster paced selection of music. So stuff like that. So we audition for that, and we also play scales like like that F major scale. Anyways, I auditioned for it. I made honor band, so that's pretty much like semifinals for middle school. And so everyone in the city of Las Vegas who made honor band, we all meet up and play together. We have a few rehearsals, and then we play at usually at the university, which would be UNLV, the University of Las Vegas. Um, and when I went to the uni or when I would scan the room for people who are playing in the honor band, it's mostly white people. Um, yeah, it's mostly white people or people from privileged school. Like I never went to privileged school as well. I guess you can say schools are privileged because like not everyone's educated, but I went to the lesser privileged schools. If that would help anyone obtain that information, I just told. Um, for Allstate is pretty much the finals or like the championships. Well, not the yeah, I guess you can say championships for the state. So instead of okay, so for honor band, everyone in the city of Las Vegas, they compete for the top slots in honor band. And then for all states, everyone who made honor band in the state of Nevada or whatever state they live in compete for the final position. So I made it to all state like two or three times through my high school years. And like I said, it was just mostly white people. Not that I'm complaining or anything. Not that I'm complaining or anything, but people being ignorant, they would have these stereotypes um, for me, and I would usually be that lonely kid. Well, because INTPs, like I said, we're usually lonely, and then that extroverted feeling inferior, just being like the one of the only people like a brown skin tone. There's like in Allstate, every time I went to Allstate, there's like somewhere around from two to maybe five or six people who had brown or a darker skin tone color. And like I would usually get nervous. Like people would have to come up to me. Um and that's usually the extroverted personality types because they love to initiate. I love to respond to people. I don't like to or I don't have a preference for interacting with people, like being the first person to talk. And that's because of my extroverted inferior function, and that's what all introverted types have. They all have an extroverted um, inferior function, and then for the extroverted types, they all have an introverted inferior function. So I had the audacity to, I mean, not do anything wrong or anything, but bring one of my compositions I made, and then people really loved that. I don't know if people were talking about it, but they really love that I brought a piece for like a small section of the band to play. It was just like four trumpet players, and they like they like the music, but that's pretty much me getting a little bit off topic. But anyways, yeah, in a lot of communities, I would have to mask who I am or just not talk at all to be tolerated, because people had this mentality, well, if you're not black, you cannot be accepted, or if you don't do this, we don't accept you as much as who you are. Which is, I just don't have words for that right now, but um, it kind of sucks at the same time, but it can be a strength. INTPs, when you have weakness, seek strength in those weaknesses and then try to improve those strengths too. So you have more strengths than weaknesses, or you always have a strength to weakness, which would be extroverted intuition. It's it's the theory of relativity. You store that information with SI so you can find out new ways to use that information to improve your quality of life, pretty much. And that's usually what INTPs are trying to do with the world. They're trying to seek a better meaning, better standard, or better standards for people, of just the people of the human race. Like, to INTP's perspective, TI is not TI is not F. TI is the highest function we have, so we're just trying to figure out why and the meaning. We don't care about politics. We don't care about anything that's irrational. We care about logic. Like, some INTPs, I like I said, I'm not speaking for all INTPs, but some INTPs, they know we're just skin and flesh. That's all we are. We come and go. and I'm and I'm just trying to figure out why I'm smiling right there. And I guess one reason would be because I know a lot of people are not going to agree with me. Because usually something that's helped them, something that's helped the human race a lot evolve would, in my opinion, would be like religion. And I'm just here to say that religion's based mostly on irrationality, in my opinion. Most religions are, not all of them. Some are logic based, but it's the theory of abstractness that people don't know. People want to know that they don't know what's coming at the end of their life, or they want to know what's coming at the end of their life that they don't know. So they try to affiliate a meaning to their life, or to the afterlife, or to whatever religion they're speaking of. And this, like I said, this is not personally about any religion, because I don't know all religions, and plus we're probably developing new religions. But just going back from a small TI tangent, like I don't care about politics. I don't care about most religion. INTPs, I do recommend Tao, or at least reading a book or something a little bit about it. Pretty much, it's the Tao's pretty much saying, this is that, this is this, this is the Tao, this is that, this is the Tao. People still, people may steal your car. Um, you may prevent them from stealing the car. It's just the Tao. It happens. It happens. It happens. You just deal with it. You just deal with life. Um, just don't use when you use INTPs, when you develop FI, don't use that mostly in pessimistic ways. Like when you use that in optimistic ways, you can develop meaning to your life or whatever you do, and you can share with the rest of the world with extroverted feeling and your other extroverted functions. Because that's when you will learn to love yourself more and learn to love people. Because there's a lot of people on a lot of humans, sorry, and species on the earth that are hurting right now. And that's usually what I think of when I am being treated kindly. Like I always like to think of who's not getting something. Like it's the triple systematic behavior of INTPs. We just, at least for me, I love to think about other people, especially if they are not in a beneficial or in a in an area where they benefit. Like if they're either being mistreated, I will always give them the time of the day. I would always give them the time of the day to speak their mind, and then I would always store that information with introverted sensing because I'm dealing with a sensation that they're giving me, or they're giving me um, rationale or irrationality, and I'm trying to think of ways to improve their life or come up with ways for them to improve their life or give value to their life of what they're doing, and that's I just basically listed the four top functions of the INTP, TINESIFE. Like I'm trying to give them value of what they're saying via FE or extroverted feeling inferior, or it's going aspirational there. And then they're giving me all this rationale or irrational information, and I'm trying to store that in to my extroverted thinking so I can come up with something with my TI hero to find a solution to that problem. And once I find that solution, I look at extroverted intuition parent or the second function to find multiple solutions to the problem or the subject they're dealing with. So I talked about George, Zach. So pretty much my friends in high school. Um, I didn't talk about this guy named Thomas. I think he's an INP. I haven't talked to him in years, but actually I'm gonna message him after this. See if he wants to hang out. He's either I think he's a high SI user in my opinion. So I think he's either a INTP, INFP, and possibly ISTJ. And like I got the STJ because philosopher types are NFPs and STJs, so he could either be one of those. Like the Cadres, like the philosophers, Crusaders, Wayfarers, and Templars, they all share the same functions in their four sides of the mind, but they're all stacked differently. Kind of like me describing my friend George, because he's an ENTP and I'm an INTP. We're both NTP. So NTPs and SFJs, they're Crusader types. I have TINESIFE. He has NETIFESI in his stacking. So pretty much like I stated earlier. Um, so yeah, talking about my friend. So yeah, Thomas, really great person. He was probably my one of my favorites because I love hanging out with older people or younger people. And Thomas, he was younger than me. He was I think he's 2 years younger than me, maybe less. But always love the newer generations. Um, the lesser arrogant ones, that to be said, because you still have those entitled. Okay, anyways, so yeah, so Thomas, he's a high SI user, or I would say high SI user. He either has introverted sensing in the first slot, which would be ISFJ or ISTJ, but I don't. He's not an ISFJ. Um, he's definitely pragmatic. um, so wait, if he's pragmatic, that would only make him INTP. Okay, I had to follow up on that with him, but yeah, I'll message him after this recording session and you know whatever going with my life. Anyways, my senior year, I met this person named Mackenzie. I don't. I never psychoanalyzed her, but I would always analyze people, and like she was one of my favorite people to um, analyze and just talk to. Like I would always talk to her. She would always talk to me until a point I messed up, and by me messing up, I had some thoughts thinking that she was angry at me, which was really scary to my extroverted feeling function, inferior function. And I thought I had this perception that going to a dance with her would be excuse me, detrimental to our relationship. Like we weren't dating or anything, but we were friends. But to our friendship, yeah, our friendship relationship, um, I thought I was making her angry at the time, but she was not really happy about something going on in her life, and I thought I was one of the sources of that problem. So I was like, okay, I don't want to stress this out on this person, which would be Mackenzie, and go to the dance with her. Yeah, that didn't end well for me. Um, she didn't talk to me for a while, and like the day after the dance, I was trying to talk to her. I think I was trying to tell her why I didn't go to the dance with her, but I don't think I don't remember what happened that day, but she didn't really want to talk to me. So I was like, oh, I screwed up something. Like that's for me. It's just something something I won't forget in my life because someone like her, I never met someone like her before. Because what she did to me, she made me develop and recognize a lot of my other cognitive functions because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I didn't know where I was going to be, stuff like that. I was just throwing stuff out of the air because I was coming from my affiliative ESFJ subconscious, sort of say, because for the ESFJs, like I'm pretty sure that yeah, they have no clue of what they want because they have NI trickster or introverted intuition in the seventh slot, which is the unaware function for ESFJs. And like how my ESFJ subconscious was presented when sometimes when I would be asked small talk questions, like Mackenzie and I, we didn't really do any small talk. Like it was meaningful. That's why like I loved being around her um, through the days we spent together. Um, and pretty much the same for Zach too. I love being around him. But for Mackenzie, um, I think it was just because she was maybe because she was a female, and that I've never made a female friend before in my life. That I started jumping to conclusions like quickly because I was like, okay, this like the negative side of my mind was saying like, okay, this person's too good to be true, or your happiness is too good to be true because like I didn't grow up happy. Like a lot of the stuff I did was like either faked emotion or just like kind of like robotic, kind of the stereotypical thing that INTPs get. But um, that's because I wasn't really accepted for who I was. So when I got out and about out of my comfort zone, I'll just have my set of commands, kind of like a SFJ. So I'm not bagging on you SFJs for or SJs for doing or acting or being the way you are. It's just it's just scary having the thoughts in your head every day that you're not going to be accepted by anyone or most of the people you interact with. And if you are indulged in your SI and you don't want anyone to touch your SI, then that mentality is going to be okay, nobody likes me because your extrovert intuition wants to try something new. Or it's what the extrovert intuition is doing at the moment is thinking, okay, nobody wants me, nobody wants to be with me, stuff like that. And then introverted intuition's like saying, do I want to leave? Do I want to do this? So like INTPs can get really bitter like that, and we become like really apathetic. Once we do that, it's really sad for us. Yeah. I started to get a little emotional from that, just saying that, because I know a lot of you INTPs, you relate to that. You just want to make meaning of life because you don't. One of the reasons may be that you don't see a lot of people doing it, or at least around you, you don't see a lot of people doing it, or you see people being fake to get stuff done. So you're like, okay, let me teach this person something new. Because INTPs, well, you love to do that. You love to teach people that value you or that respect you or listen to you. And then Zach and Mackenzie, they were all that and more for me. And it's been a while since I've got people like them. It's been years, years. I went to college for like two years, I think, or 2.5, and then I would my field of interest gathered through music, and that was because my parents they kind of forced me into music in middle school. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, um, and so I learned about. Well, I just learned about a lot of people that I played with, like in the community college. That's community college was always my favorite band to play in because pretty much community band, you just people are just there because they want to be there. It's not because they're told to be there or they're bound to like an interest based system. That's what I really loved about the community band. I could compose music for the community band or bands, and they would be played. That's happened before. Um, there's like this small community group that I had that my friend named Jeff he recommended me. Um, there's like 7 to 10, 7 people there, and they would just play music from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. and just have fun and play. Man, I love that stuff. So my friend, I think I told you this. Yeah, he's 59 years old. He was playing this small band. They would meet up like every Monday. Yeah, every Monday, and just play. And I went there for the first day. We just played, and like I was in the mood. I was in the mood. So I was like, okay, yeah, let's play the next piece. Okay, let's play the next piece because we're just like sight reading. And for people who don't know what sight reading is, it's just reading music for the first time. Well, for me, it was sight reading. I don't know for the other musicians there if they were sight reading or if they played it before, but we would just play all the selection of music, and then it was getting to a point at the end of the rehearsals I would bring in music I composed, and the people there in that little small community, they loved it. They're like, hey, yeah, let's do it again, let's record. And man, that's something INTP loves. Like I said, we love to be valued and appreciated for who we are, because we love people who love our thoughts or love our creations, and creations is tuned more into extroverted sensing and our, which would be our blind spot. But um I wouldn't speak for myself saying that I have developed it, but I could say that I know about it, and I try to prioritize utilizing it in the best way, or ways I see fit. um Oh yeah, INTPs are musicians. I recommend taking marching band to help with your walking. Just like have a more healthy walking style. Just in case you think you may not have one, like a healthy walking style, or maybe running too. And it also teaches discipline too. Discipline for your introverted sensing child. Um, but yeah, like I was saying, community. Okay, so college. When I went to the university, I really didn't. I preferred community stuff, like anything where people really wanted to be in areas. Like college, I didn't really like. I ended up failing like 3 to 5 of my classes total within the 2 years of when I took my classes, and that's because I tried to find meaning, but I couldn't, which would be introverted thinking. And then SI, it wasn't comfortable about doing something that's extroverted thinking nemesis that was meaningless. Like, I don't have to do this to pass, or I don't have to do this because it's either not making me feel comfortable through introverted sensing, or I could just fail that and just, or fail the assignment and just make up for something else. But I really didn't put much effort into some of the classes I took, and that was because um, one was because my father, he signed me up for the class, and he's an interest based. I'm pretty sure he's either double interest or triple interest based personality type. The ENFJ, the okay, yeah, ENFJ. If I remember, they're interest based, then INFPs, they're interest, yeah, and then ISTPs, they're interest based too. So yeah, he was triple interest based, and like for me being triple systematic, I'm just trying to figure out the system of which the classes I'm taking, or figure out why I'm doing this or that. Because I'm just trying to find the best knowledge for myself or others. And like taking the prerequisite classes, that's not that's not something that like for me, probably other INTPs too. They don't like that because it's just it's almost it's almost meaningless to us. It's not entirely meaningless because you can probably learn something new from it, or you can probably develop maybe one of your cognitive functions or a couple of cognitive functions in that set course. Like for me, I developed a little bit more of extroverted feeling and extroverted sensing through some of my classes because some of them were in class, and then sometimes I would there would be group projects or group assignments, and I would um, pretty much engage in those functions or try to use those functions because I notice within myself because what I do to improve, I guess, my mentality of who I am is that I always tell myself to um, metaphorically look at myself in the mirror and to replay the moments in my life or in the day or the last hour, maybe the last couple seconds that I did, the facial expressions I just made. Why am I doing that? Is it possible for me to improve it, to not improve it, to I'm just looking for extroverted intuition, parent ideas to do or represent who I am or what I'm trying to do. You and I recommend this to all INTPs. Just do that because I don't do it all the time, but I try to do it more than I think I do it. And it's put me in a state of mind of where um, I rarely get mad or really get upset at anything because I look at myself in the mirror metaphysically. I'm saying that, okay, if I were to have other of me's look at myself at that very point, would they be happy about that? No. They would try to make sure that something like that doesn't happen to me again unless it's like meaningful. If it's irrational, then I mostly disapprove of those said actions. I just don't like doing that. So I look at myself through extroverted intuition like that. Like I said, um, I was talking about college. So when I went to a music some band in at the college, mostly people there they were like goofy. They were goofy. Like I understand that we're young. Like I'm 22 years old, but like for me, I still have a pessimistic view of life. Or I wouldn't say pessimistic view of life, but I know this might sound rude to a lot of personality types, but like I stated earlier, life is meaningless. We try to attach meaning to it before we die, but um, it's mostly about the information gathering cognitive functions. In my opinion, it's about sensing and intuition. It's about what we do at in the moment or what we've done in the past and what can we do to better what new ways can we do to better evolutionize ourselves pretty much. And then um, what a lot of people try to do is they try to attach meaning, so that's when thinking and then feeling cognitive functions come into play. um, but okay, like I was going on about college and band and at UNLV. So at the university, there's just a lot of, in my opinion, a lot of goofballs, a lot of titled people, a lot of just people there due from someone else paying them. Like so, they were getting paid to do something. Um, they were getting paid to do something through intuition, I believe, or like through their family, relatives, whatever. And like for me, I didn't like the thought of I'm getting or someone's paying for me to take a class that a lot of people may or may not be passionate about. because that sucks for INTP. That's like this pretty much like a toxic um, area to be around, especially for the state of a mind of INTP. Because like I said, INTPs are trying to learn why we do stuff, which is thinking, and then the thinking and feeling cognitive functions, and then we're trying to do stuff in the moment and do stuff in the future for other people that can either benefit them or um, see them with really great sensations that we provided from them. That's like from sensing and intuition standpoint. Um, the community, one of the community bands I was in, like the small group I was talking to you about, that my 59-year-old friend Jeff, I think he might be ISTP. He's I really love the guy. I gotta talk to him because I stopped talking to him. Well, I ignored him. There's nothing wrong with. There's nothing he. There's nothing that he did to make me not talk to him. Really, it was just on my own will. Like for it's it's kind of the same perception I had with him and Mackenzie. Like when I have a lot of great people in my life, I don't stick with them for a long time. And I'm either it's either because they want me to do something like I'm really afraid of, or um which would be extroverted feeling that I'm afraid of, or that possibly something got in the way. Well, one thing got in the way for Jeff and I, and that was COVID. And then when COVID hit, I kind of stopped talking to him for a bit. He's a really nice guy. A really nice guy. I really got talk to him or find a way to communicate with him. Um, guess I'll do that after this too. Talk to my friend Thomas, then talk to Jeff if he still has the same phone number. Because he invited me to his house like once or twice, and he was. I think he's ISTB because like theory is not something he's really into that much. At least to my memory and my understanding, or my understanding of my memory and my memory. Um, but he really knows what he's talking about when he's passionate about something. And that's something he was also talking to me about, passion, because we had community band and we had our little side community band, sort of say, like the community band had like 30 people in it, and most of the people there, they wanted to be there. Some people there, they didn't want to be there, I think, or they're just being there just to be there because maybe it was their duty, SI, to do that. They thought it was their duty to do that. Um, but anyways, my friend Jeffy was saying that, Anthony, you should go join this little small community band we have at this that we meet up on every Monday. So I did, and then man, I really enjoyed that because I was really afraid to try something new because introverted sensing child was really comfortable, and introverted intuition's like, do I want to do that? Because I'm really critical about what I want to do or what I want, or my intentions on something, on a desired goal. I did that and I really liked it. Um, I'll I'll save this for another video, but I'll talk about this right now. My upbringing with my family, or my close family, like mother, father, and then siblings. I'm not sure about my my youngest brother and my youngest sister, but I grew up with only interest based people. Same thing goes for my aunt. My one of my aunts, because I have a few aunts. But I'm going to refer to my aunt, Karen. She's an ISFP. Um, I got to talk to her soon because I've been ignoring her for probably almost a year now because I've been upset about trying to talk to this terminology or this subject, this form of psychology to her because like I'm INTPs, we if we want to talk to you about something, it's not just because we it's not because we want to get something out of it out of a situation because like I said, we're not interest based. We want to teach you something that will benefit you. That's if we do that, that means we love you. Um, that's what INTPs do. We we seek to improve the lives of others, and that's through TINNE. Some people don't. Well, I'm not gonna say some. A lot of people don't understand that, and 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 I love saying this from an INTP standpoint. As an INTP, okay. Anyways, yeah, my aunt, she's an ISFP, and then when it comes to cognitive relationships or social compatibility, um, people would or the psychology group would describe my my relationship with my aunt as the super ego relationship where her highest function is my lowest function and my highest function is her lowest function. So um it can be for us to get along like a super ego relationship for those two for that relationship type to get along requires a lot of maturity and a lot of listening and understanding because we all the super ego relationship they have what they're looking for and the cognitive synchronicity like TE's trying to look for a TI, FE's trying to look for FI, and the cognitive stacking. um, when it comes to my aunt and I, my aunt was raised differently um, than I was. um, Her skin tone's different. um, I I don't really know much about her upbringing except for what people have told me. I've heard some great stories about her, some not so great stories about her, and I mean, for me, it adds up. Like I know she's. I accidentally mistyped her, and I was trying to be like I knew she was an ISFP or ISP. I didn't know she was an ISTP or ISFP because I wasn't really paying attention to her because SE Trickster for me, it's not aware of what people are doing right now. It's aware of what people are about to do. That's extroverted intuition about what people are about to do. Because SI, introverted sensing for INTPs, is so in the moment about their own comfort. They're like, okay, I'm just gonna mind my own comfort. As long as I'm comfortable, I'm not gonna worry about what other people are doing. Or yeah. Um, but when it came to me explaining to her, I think two times she didn't either give me the time or she was denying some of the stuff I was saying. She was like saying, "Oh, it's like you're giving us labels." I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's giving you labels, but there's much more to it than labels." Some people don't understand that, or they don't understand it in the moment or at the moment. And I've realized that FI users do that the most. Not all FI users though. Like, and sorry for FI users, I mean like FI in the top two functions. So ISFPs, INFPs, ESFPs, and ENFPs. And it kind of made me become kind of apathetic or indifferent to my aunt Karen because she didn't really give me the time to listen to her. And then the last time I really talked to her was when she wanted me to dog sit her two puppies.
They love to give a lot of kisses, especially this one named Sugar. Like he'll just give you kisses all night, all day, all night. And then the other dog, Thumper, he'll do that too, only if only if Sugar's doing that first, because Thumper gets jealous. Um, I think that's it about this video. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm going to title this video, but um, the next video I'll talk about will probably be, I guess, my upbringing, a more focused output of my upbringing, and then maybe, yeah, morely about me being raised with my family and other interest based people, because my father, he's a ENFJ, mother INFJ, sister ENFJ, and I think my oldest young brother, he might be an ENFJ. I'm not sure though. So I'm growing up with a lot of NFJs, and then my aunt SFP. So I'm growing up with a lot of interest based people. So I don't really get to figure out who, for one, who I am, and two, be respected for who I am. And well, the person who pretty much respected me the most for who I am, or yeah, who I was at the moment, would probably be my father. But I'd love to talk to him about the psychology, and it's almost like the same for my aunt Karen. It's just like they don't give me the time to do this or to explain this stuff. Like my father, yeah, because my father's always asking me what am I gonna do, what am I gonna do, and I'm like, I don't know. Or like I'll give him an answer, and he's like, and he tells me, um, "Are you saying that just to shut me up?" And part of me is saying yes, because I really don't know what I want to do. Like I just want to help people, but it's just hard for me to be in a leader position, because I would always tell him, a band director. It's hard for me to be in a leader position because I get so exhausted from extroverting extroverting using my other sides of the mind, because they're not developed. The ESFJ side of my mind, it's not developed because I'm I'm too busy using the ESFJ subconscious as fakeness to be like a robot, or to do small talk, all that stuff. And then the ENTJ side is too ignorant to be really smart or engaging in what um, people are doing, the sensations I'm giving to them, stuff like that. And I'm trying to develop that more. Um, trying to Yeah, like I said, I'm just trying to develop those more, because that's what's gonna happen to you INTPs. Your ESFJ side of mine is gonna be too. It's gonna be fake. It's gonna be undeveloped because it's fake. The ENTJ side is going to be undeveloped because it doesn't have enough information. Because it never has enough information. But you can alleviate the ENTJ side of your mind to be more developed by learning more about facts, opinions, and then just doing more in the moment, pretty much. Um, and then learning more about your introverted feeling, establishing meaning to what you do, and possibly your life. Because I know you're triple systematic and you're always thinking about other people. But if you're thinking about other people all the time, you gotta use your other sides of minds to help them, because you're not gonna get anywhere. You're not gonna help anyone if you're being fake or you don't know. If you're being fake with your ESFJ subconscious, and the ENTJ side just doesn't know. You like I said, you gotta get out. You gotta get out of that comfort zone with TISI loop. Because if you do, you're just gonna rot. And then people you love or that you could have loved are going to not benefit in life because you're not doing anything. And I kind of want to. This will be for another video, but it'll be like an INTP's take on ISFP or INTP's ISFP super ego. It's for me. It feels it. I think of myself as almost babysitting almost everyone in my life. Like I got to do everything myself. I got to learn the psychology. I got to learn this so you people stop fighting, so you people can have better understanding, so we can all stop being dumb, stupid, stuff like that. The um the ISF yeah, the ISFP super ego will be on for a different video. Could do it actually no, because I got work soon. But yeah, the ISFP super ego will be a take on another day. Um, and then I'm not gonna edit this video because you gotta for INTPs. If you want to learn more about INTPs, you gotta know how you look. Not, and I'm not saying aesthetically. I'm saying like eye movement, facial expression, stuff like that. So you can learn um, to either, well, yeah, just learn more about yourself. But yeah, I think that's about it for this video. 2 hours long. Um, but yeah, the next video will be a scripted video, pretty much. But yeah, bye.